Hello everyone, we are back for round 12 of RM Fantasy SXperts. I am Chase here with Christian. It feels like it's been a while.
Yeah, I enjoyed the bye week, gained a few pounds, but we're back and ready to go.
We did have a bonus episode, but we got a lot to talk about. We're going into Seattle, and right now it's forecast to be rainy.
About time. We haven't seen a rain race in a while, mudders.
Yeah,
So.
I'm excited. But before we get into that, let's talk about Indianapolis, and this is our race recap. All right, so round 12, it is in the books.
It was a little bit ago.
It was crazy. Yeah, it feels like forever ago. We do. So, seeing the top 5, though, I don't think anybody expected to see this in their lineup. And the stats.
A big shocker, the lowest points of the season, so in fantasy.
Pretty wild. So, Musquin got his second win of the year. Dean Wilson, props to him. His first podium and his best finish.
Yeah, bulldozed his way to second.
Yeah, that was awesome. He took out Tickle, who got 5th. Brayton, dude, I don't know what to say about this guy other than most improved rider.
Yeah. He's looking
good. We
didn't
even mention him when we talked about most improved riders last week, and we got called out for it.
We messed up on that. He put some respect on his name.
Yes, sir. Jason Anderson charged back from literally dead last to 4th. Tickle 5th, and Tyler Bowers holding it down in the wild card. Yep. And as we just said, very low scoring weekend. Christian, what are our stats?
The average points was 18, almost 19 points. So it was, the week before was the highest scoring week we've had. That week was the lowest. So we went from the top all the way to the bottom. 0 perfect scores, of course. Only 2 people got 5 or more right. And .0069 had the top 5 in their top 5. That's 5 people out of 71,000 picks.
Jeez.
So really low week. Low on the wild card, too. My wife did get Tyler Bowers. I told her she was crazy for picking him. Shout out to her.
All right. So just under 5% got the wild card, it looks like.
Yep.
Wow. So as far as injuries go, information you need to know for this week. Barsha and Webb, we are told, are not showing up to the races.
Yeah,
so,
big news.
Yep, and then we still got Seeley, Grant, Roxon, Bogle, Weimer. So is Tedder coming back and Ray?
I saw on Racer X last week that it said Ray, Tedder, and they're trying to come back for Seattle, so watch out for them. And then the big news, rider to watch out for, we talk about later. But
we'll talk about him more in just a little bit, Mr. Josh Hill.
Josh Hill coming back.
All right. Well, there you have it. That is our race recap, and now we're going into Seattle, which we've got rain in the forecast. So let's get into it. This is our track trends. All right, so for this week in Seattle, we have got 90% chance of rain.
Yeah, looks like weather's going to play a part. So
yeah, 15-mile-an-hour winds, and then 54 to 46 degrees kind of in there. So it's going to be cold. It's going to
chilly night.
Feel like Salt Lake Supercross.
Yep.
All right, and then what do you got about the track?
A lot of 180 turns, including a couple bowl turns and an S turn right before the finish.
Yeah, that was pretty wild. I haven't seen that yet.
Could get violent in there, I'm predicting. And we are going back to the West Coast, obviously, so it's going to be a later round. Picks close 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 o'clock Eastern. So
there you go. So, and then also for last year, just to quickly recap, you had Tomac, Musquin, and Anderson all in your top 5. So that's what we got to talk about next is our points battle. All right, so for this week's points battle, you can see on the table we've got 4 riders. Now, last week on our bonus episode, we asked the question, what is the hardest part about submitting your picks before the night show starts? And we had a lot of feedback.
A lot of people with the same problem.
Yep, and which is, where do you put Tomac, Musquin, and Anderson? We'll talk about Brayton in a second, but where do you put these 3 in your top 3? So that's what we're gonna focus on today. Now, with Tomac.
We talked about it, we agree. He's still worthy of the top spot.
Yep.
I mean, for a lot of reasons. Whenever he finishes 8th or worse, he always comes back and wins. His last 5 finishes are 15, 1, 2, 3, and 1. He does have 2 DNFs and 1 missed round on the West, but I wouldn't be too scared of that.
Yeah.
Because he did get 2 hole shots out there. And he's qualified as far back as 10th and still won, so don't worry about that, man.
So Tomac power ranking, he's still up there. Now, on Musquin and Anderson, you and I
We kind of debated and struggled on that one.
We disagree.
Yeah.
As gentlemen. I put Musquin actually in 2nd this weekend. He's got a lot of momentum, okay? He crushed it last weekend.
He crushed it in Seattle last year, too.
Yeah, he won Seattle last year. His starts have been really, really good.
Yeah.
Also, so I see him doing better. My only reason I put Anderson behind is because right now Anderson's got that, 35-point lead.
Yeah.
So I don't see him pushing the envelope if he's behind these 2.
You're putting him in safe mode.
Safe mode in 3rd place. What do you got?
I think if he was going to be in safe mode, he would have been a lot worse than 4th last week. There's some fire in there where he wants to win.
What if he started behind these 2? Do you think he'd still just push it that much more?
I think he can't help himself, honestly. Like,
right.
I bet the team's telling him, just take it easy, relax. But he's pushing every time you see him. He's pushing.
Okay. So you put Anderson ahead of Musquin
I still
this week.
pick him ahead of Musquin barely. Trust me, I like Musquin a lot this week.
Okay.
But Anderson, he has the best average finish, a 1.8 on the West this year. Tied for the best average start with Barcia, who's out.
Okay.
He's finished first 3 times this year. I mean, and he has the second most laps led on the West compared to Tomac. And but one thing with him, he's only finished where he's qualified 1 time this season. So he usually, moves around. Don't stick him where he qualifies is my advice on him.
Okay. Now, the reason that we have Brayton on the table is because Brayton's been on a roll. Okay, his last 4 races,
top 5s.
3, 4, 1, 4. So 4 straight top 5s. However, his only top 5 on the West Coast
was
a triple crown. So I don't know if that's really saying much, but that is a statistic. So Brayton, I don't know. We'll see how he lands. What do you guys think? Where do you put Brayton in your top spots this week? But there you go. That is the points battle. Those are the top 3. Hopefully that kind of helps you guys out with your picks this week. But now let's get into it because for me, this is the hardest part.
There's a lot of spoilers when we looked it up.
Spoilers, man, they're tough. So let's get into it. This is our weekly spoilers. All right, so for this week with spoilers, this is for me the hardest part.
Especially after last week. I mean, there's so many riders that have made it in the top 5 now. It's getting hard to pick.
Now you got a mud race, so anything could happen, literally.
Just to throw another wrench.
So I put Malcolm Stewart up here, and I kind of want to know what you guys think. So he got 6th last week. He's been moving up.
In 5th place for laps 13 through 24.
Yeah, so I feel like a top 5 is due, but this guy's kind of sketchy sometimes. You put him in a mud race, I'm just not sure. But then you get into Brock, Tickle, and Dean Wilson. Wilson had his best finish. He's on a roll.
We all saw their incident.
We did, and Wilson did apologize in the press conference if you guys didn't watch.
Explained what happened. I buy it. I don't think it's dirty at all.
Had a little arm pump, couldn't stop in time. Tickle turned down a little too hard, and they're kissing bikes. That's what happened. But anyway, with Wilson, I think he's a solid top 5 guy. I think he's got more confidence now.
He's got momentum going, that's for sure.
Tickle's had 3 top 5s, so I think he's feeling more confident now. So I think these 2 are easy guys to put in there, but I'd say look at qualifying.
Definitely.
So what do you got for Baggett and Pike over here?
Baggett just been having a rough go since his crash in the last Triple Crown. Just not looking the same. He just can't get a start. He has 2 third-place finishes on the West this year already, so we know he can do it. But his last 3 starts have been 19, 12, and 13.
I mean, he was 7th in Indy before he crashed. Sorry, not Baggett. I'm thinking of Pike here. Sorry, we're at Baggett.
He's had so many people to pass to make it up there.
Something's off with the guy.
It all depends on the status of his wrist. We're going to see where he qualifies, how he feels. But, you never know. He can make it up there. And then Pike was running in 7th last round until he crashed out.
Did you?
It looked like, I don't know, it looked pretty bad, but he said he was just sore, so he should be back.
Wait, speaking of crashes, Tomac, no one even saw it.
That was tough, too, because you didn't know what the heck was going on.
Sorry, I just remembered that. I was like, Tomac crashed, but nobody ever saw it, so it's like it didn't happen, but it did.
Yeah.
But with Pike, going back to it.
I mean, he's got 3 top 5s on the West already. He was running in 7th. He says he's not hurt. He's just sore, so. In a mud race, maybe the stronger, tougher dudes could have a better performance.
Right. So. Well, there you go. So those are some of the weekly spoilers. Again, a lot can happen this weekend with being the mudder. What do you guys think? Who do you think's bound to crack that top 5 that maybe hasn't yet? So a lot can go on this weekend. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
But next, we got to talk about it because the wild card this week, 15th place, and we have a rider showing up for his first race of the year that I actually put in the wild card spot.
Let's hear it.
Let's get it. This is our Wildcard Watch. All right, so for this week's wild card, we've got 4 riders on the table that we want to talk about. 3 of these riders have been here all year. Josh Hill, we'll talk about him in just a second. But Tyler Bowers has finished between 14th and 16th 9 times this year.
He's only not finished between 14th and 16th 2 times. So he's always in there. He's probably going to be close.
He's probably one of the top, I say, should be one of the top picks for a wild card this week.
Yeah, we might have a repeat.
Josh Hill is coming out of retirement for 1 race only, is what we're hearing, filling in for Justin Barcia.
Wild card is perfect for him. It can be a total
15th,
wild card.
If it's a mudder, endurance might not come into play nearly as much, so I could see Josh Hill being in 15th. He is my wild card pick.
He shouldn't have any lingering injuries. He should be fresh. So.
Fresh off the couch. What do you got for these 2?
Chad Reed, we all love him, but he's been in that range 5 times this year. And Kyle Cunningham's taken 15th 2 times in the last 4 rounds. So.
And he's been in 14th to 16th 5 times.
Yeah, so these are definitely the riders to watch. Last time it was 15th place wild card was the legendary Cole Martinez, the lowest correct pick of fantasy history. So,
yeah.
And one other thing to take with you is the average rider to take 15th all year has qualified almost exactly 16th.
Really?
So watch the guy qualifying around there.
There you go. So that's the Wildcard Watch. 4 riders that we have picked going off of stats and one hunch that could land in 15th place this weekend. But now we got to get into it because it's one of our favorite segments. We call it Between Two Berms. Let's get him on the phone, the 7 Deuce Deuce. All right, so we've got him on the phone, the 7 Deuce Deuce. He goes by Adam Entignap as well.
Got a two main streak right now going too.
Congrats on 2 weekends ago, Adam.
Heck yeah, thank you guys, I appreciate it.
Now this weekend, we're going into Seattle, and you actually made an Instagram post saying, let's do this, because it's going to be rainy.
Yep.
So, speaking of rain, we want to ask you some questions about mud.
Mm-hmm.
So, question number 1. Who do you think, if there are any, the best Supercross mud riders? What are some names that jump out at you?
The best one's Kevin Windham, but he's not racing anymore. But, you know, I think Marvin Muscan or Marvin Musquin, or I'm not sure how to say his last name. I feel like I get corrected all the time. But I think he's going to be great in the mud. He's European. They have to ride that stuff a lot. I've also seen, I think I've seen Eli do pretty good in the mud. Chad's obviously a really good mud rider from Daytona, and I'll bet you he's going to be wanting to take advantage of the weekend with, you know, fitness maybe not playing so much of a part in the race, and it's going to be more about technique. So I bet you Chad's going to be looking forward to the weekend, looking forward to maybe even, I mean, I know this is a stretch, but maybe even get on the podium if it's muddy enough. You know, if it's one of those races where it's complete just mud puddles and the track is like that Daytona race that's been going around on Facebook, Chad Reed might be a good guy to put in your top 5 and maybe even your podium spot. But if you're looking for a winner, I'm saying you're going to be looking at probably Marvin or Eli to take the win this weekend.
And you're talking about the Reed Daytona where his bike overheated, what, 2 turns before the finish line?
Yeah, exactly. You know, when you watch that race, he was gone for, you know what I mean? Like, he had a pretty good lead.
Yeah, I remember that.
On that last lap. So, you know, you got to think, and two, you know, with Reed coming up on his last few seasons, I mean, I don't know when the guy's going to actually retire, but you got to think with the advantage of the weekend, the confidence of him being a mud rider, it could play a big part, but I think it has to be really, really muddy. It can't be, you know, if you're looking at the track and it's just rutted out and it's squishy and you don't see any puddles, Chad Reed's not going to be able to do it. But if you see the track is like a lake and there's puddles everywhere and it's like literally going to be paddling with your feet, I think Chad could be a really good guy to take advantage of this weekend and get some points.
Right on. Well, so yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Wants that record.
Yeah. Now the next question we have is actually just, I think a lot of viewers are going to want to answer this. I think they'll like the question.
Appreciate it.
What do you do as a rider to, one, just be better prepared and just be a better mud rider in general?
Yeah, well, starting off with preparation, you know, you got hand guards. You're going to have a bunch of towels. You're probably going to have a towel in your back. You're going to have the film strip tear-offs where you can kind of just pull it across your face. You're going to want to put probably foam on your helmet underneath your skid plate. You're going to want to actually duct tape an extra lens to the front of your goggle for roost so you can put your head down and so that rain's not coming in your vision.
Gotcha.
Those are a few things that kind of get you prepared as far as bike setup and rider setup. For bike suspension, you want to get it towards the back, have that thing hooked up in the rear, and keep that front end light because we all know how slippery it can get on that front end. So you kind of want to just use your rear as a rudder, a little bit of Villapoto style, and just try to hold that thing pinned. And find a flow. I think the biggest thing is going to be finding a flow and going into the race being like, dude, this is going to be an advantage. It's going to be fun, even though it's a hard way to look at it, especially when I'm coming in and I'm going to ruin my bike and all my gear and everything is pretty much tossed after the race. But, you know, you got to just look at it and be like, I'm going to take advantage of this. It's more of an even playing field, and we're going to go out and do good tonight.
Well, that's the complete opposite of me, because when I race a motor, I'm just like, I'm about to get smoked.
Oh, jeez. You know what? That's 90% of people, too, because, I mean, when you go out to the mud, it's just, you know, it's in cracks that you didn't even know you had in your body. It's in your boots for the next 6 months. I mean, it's just insane. It's gonna be a crazy weekend, and it's perfect for everybody in Rocky Mountain Fantasy because I have a feeling it's gonna be a big mix-up.
Really?
Yeah, I can't argue that.
I don't think you're gonna. I think the top 10 could be like completely. I mean, I'm saying you're gonna see a new winner this weekend that you probably wouldn't have predicted. I mean, maybe not, maybe yes. I'm thinking like even a Cooper Webb. I know he rides a lot in North Carolina, and I know he's done good in mud before too. So I don't know. We'll see.
We heard Cooper Webb's out. Better watch that on your picks, Adam.
Really?
Breaking news.
What happened to Coop?
We don't know. That's why we got Josh Hill signed for Factory Yamaha for Saturday.
Yo, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I see Barsha at Zaka doing some testing. He looked okay. I'm surprised he's not riding this weekend.
Yeah, we got Coop and Barsha both out. That's the latest word.
Wow. See, there you go. A Josh Hill. You never know. The dude's got the speed, doesn't have the fitness, come out, podium at Seattle.
Doesn't have the fitness, just calls it out. Well, hey, man, appreciate.
Here we go, boys.
Well, hey, we appreciate you calling in. That's really good information. Hopefully our viewers out there like it. So remember, guys, you can join Adam's group and play with him. Watch him on Instagram because he's going to be making his picks. Could be a wild weekend.
Yep.
It's going to be a good weekend for 7 Deuce Deuce, I'll tell you that much. I'm thinking between like 10 and 14 for 7 Deuce Deuce. So I don't know. Who's the wild card pick for the weekend?
15th.
Oh.
Can make a lot of people happy there. I know there's been some talk about the 7 Deuce crew. A lot of people in there talking about picking you there, so.
Yep.
Dude, that might be a good spot for the weekend for Deuce, bro. I love the mud, dude.
Get it.
15th's a good spot, dude.
I like it.
All right, man. Well, hey.
Be tough, boys.
Yep.
Good luck this weekend, man.
We'll be cheering for you.
Thanks, boys.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Peace.
There you guys have it.
Breaking news even on the 7 Deuce Deuce sometimes.
7 Deuce Deuce has spoken. Hopefully you guys like that insight he gave about the mud. So now we got to get into it.
Time to lock him down.
Let's lock him in. All right, man, let's lock him in. Now, before we lock him in, thanks for saving me in that last segment because I couldn't spit out the question.
It happens to the best of us.
This is difficult sometimes.
Contrary to what you believe, this is kind of hard to do sometimes.
It is, so thanks for bailing me out.
No problem, I got you back.
So my picks for this week, Eli Tomac, the rumor or the statistic stays true, he's gonna win.
His lap times alone, I'm putting him in the top spot too.
Marvin Musquin, Jason Anderson, Justin Brayton, Weston Pike. He's got to get another top 5 before the year ends. And then going on the hunch, Josh Hill, he's doing it.
You know, if we didn't mention him, he would 100% hit it.
Yeah. So. What do you got?
Let's go with my picks. I agree with you on Anderson. This one was the toughest for me all week, but I'm putting Anderson ahead of him. I just have a feeling about it. So Musquin in 3rd, Brayton in 4th. I'm putting Dean Wilson back in 5th.
You're putting him in 5th?
Let's put Dean Wilson back in 5th. And my wild card, I'm going to go with Bowers going back-to-back weeks.
Really? Back-to-back weeks in the wild card.
I know he took 11th last round, his best finish, I think, of the year, but he's just been there so many times, and it could be a wild race.
All right.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. There you go. Those are our picks. They are locked in. What do you guys think? Are we on the right track? I think for the top 3, it's pretty simple. Well, not according to what you guys think, but we know who's going to be in the top 3.
You know they're going to be there.
Just not
it's
the
just
order.
getting them right there. So
could be crazy though. I'm pretty excited. Now, for real quick trivia, what do we got?
Last round's answer was Ben LeMay. A lot of people got that one right. So you guys are doing awesome. So I got a little tougher on you this week. So this rider, he has the exact same average overall finish in his 5 standard West Coast races and East Coast races this year. So same average finish on both coasts. He's made every main this year, but he hasn't finished better than 4th in a heat and hasn't been to an LCQ. So a lot to work with there. I think you'll be surprised when you find out who it is. So
dang. All right, well, there we go. You guys have it. That's the trivia, so make sure comment below and let us know what you guys think is the answer. But next up, we got to talk about it because it is the reason that we play Fantasy Supercross.
Yep.
This is our prize recap.
So, big prizes coming up for Seattle. Coming in the top spot, Cylinder Works Big Bore Cylinder Kit, Pirelli MX32 mid to hard tires in second, Bell Moto 9 MIPS in third.
Yeah, Skosh getting into it, Pro Honda Prize Pack EVS, Matrix Concepts, Rhino Power, Acerbis, Dirt Tricks or Cronin Sprockets. Those things are freaking awesome.
Yep.
And then, as always,
90 Rocky Mountain gift cards.
Yeah, so you have 100 chances to win a prize this weekend. Remember, guys, it is free to sign up, so go to RMFantasySX.com, create your user profile, sign up. You can play with Chris and I in our group, Team RMATVMC, or you can play with the 7 Deuce Deuce. You can create your own groups. It makes Supercross a whole lot more fun. So get signed up and have a good time with Supercross this week. I am Chase.
I'm Christian.
We'll see you next week.